Hey guys, how are you? So we've been talking about this all week basically, and Charles Barkley recently talked some sense about Breonna Taylor and the Defund Police. So let's listen to what he had to say and then we'll talk about it. He's getting a lot of praise from one side and a lot of hate and criticism from the other side, so we'll get into that, but listen to what he said first.
That the young lady lost her life, but we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that. You have to really be careful when I hear these fools on TV talking about defund the police and things like that. We need police reform and prison reform and things like that. Because you know who ain't going to defund the cops? White neighborhoods and rich neighborhoods. So that notion they keep saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, we just going to leave, who are black people supposed to call? Ghostbusters? When we have crime in our neighborhoods, we need police reform. But like I say, white people, especially rich white people, they're always going to have cops. So we need to stop that defund or abolish the cops crap.
And we started this.
He's 100% right. I'm sorry about everything. 100% right. And the reason that he is getting so much criticism is he is guilty of a few things that a few of us are guilty of. He is guilty of having critical thinking, common sense, and he likes to find the truth. He doesn't want to push a false narrative. He wants to know the truth, and he has nuanced, critical thinking, and he questions, and this is exactly what we are missing right now, and I will prove it to you. Before we move any further, I do need to say it is an absolute tragedy that Breonna Taylor lost her life. It is a tragic scenario all the way around. I wished it wouldn't have happened. She should still be alive today. I think we all agree on that. Hands down. So let's move forward. This is the problem. Okay, so this is a tweet by Brittany Daniel, and she has a check mark. It also says on her profile that she is a writer, editor, founder of The Right Pitch, like all these things. I don't know if she maybe writes for Essence, Glamour, The Guardian, but she's a co-host. So let's see what she says. This is she has, I believe, like 30,000 followers. She says, "What is Charles Barkley talking about? This Breonna Taylor's death isn't like Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd. You're right, it's not, because she was at home asleep in her bed. TF." And I saw this so much when I was researching this video, and I was looking at other commentating videos that were sort of on the opposing opinion of mine, and every single one of them had the wrong information. Breonna Taylor was not asleep in her bed. She was in the hallway standing up. They had a no-knock warrant. They didn't use the no-knock warrant. And this is corroborated by a witness who is in neighborhood. This is corroborated by the officers who were knocking on her door. And a lot of this was also corroborated by Breonna Taylor's boyfriend at the time, who admitted that he did hear them knocking. Now, he did say he did not hear them say police, but he did say that he heard them knocking. And police said, as well as the neighbor, that they did knock and they yelled police. Remember, this is corroborated by all police and the neighbor. So that's not true. And a lot of people are saying, well, he fired a warning shot. That warning shot went into the officer's leg and hit his femoral artery. That is a major artery. That's a kill shot. I don't know if you remember that image a long time ago. This is super random. It was from the Boston bombing. There was a guy in a wheelchair, and you saw the hero in the cowboy hat, and he was trying to rush him to paramedics or EMTs, and he was holding an artery because he knew that you can bleed out from that artery. So yes, that was a kill shot. Is the whole thing tragic? Absolutely. But the problem is, and I saw it with protesters, we talked about it yesterday, they had these signs that said she was asleep in her bed. She was not asleep. And this person has a platform and is still perpetuating things that are not true. If you want to have the argument whether the death was unjust or not, we can have that argument, but you don't even have the basic facts. And this information has been out for how many months? And this person right here who has a platform and who is a writer didn't do so much as to try to find the truth and research. That is the problem. We're going under these generalizations, and anytime we hear this person was shot by this person, we all assume that it's racism without actually looking for it and without actually trying to get to the bottom of it and get to the truth. And unfortunately, I think that's one of the reasons why you see right now, I'll pull this up for you. So the Black Lives Matter movement is seriously losing support. This was in the Daily Wire today. Is America suffering protest fatigue? Support for BLM demonstrations falls to 39% from 54% in 3 months amid unrest over Breonna Taylor ruling. Support for Black Lives Matter protests is falling across the country after months of unrest that has seen people killed, shops burned, and frequent clashes between activists and police. A new poll shows that just 39% of Americans now approve the protests, down from 54% in June, while 44% now disapprove of them. University of Michigan political scientist Christian Davenport put the change down to compassion fatigue, as outrage over videos such as one of the George Floyd has faded, with people now wanting to return to their everyday lives. A shift also appears to have been driven by the perceptions of violence, with almost a third of Americans saying the protests are now mostly or always violent, up from 22% just 3 months ago. Yes, this is true. There were protests last night in Hollywood. A girl got run over. A car got chased down, hit by another car, and attacked. People are seeing the violence. They're also seeing people in the street and seeing people like this perpetuating these untruths to try to fit this narrative, and Americans are getting tired of it because most of us kind of have common sense and we do want to get to the bottom of that. But these far left lunatics that are out in the street not even knowing what they're protesting and burning up our cities, yeah, people are getting tired of it. And this is why someone like Charles Barkley is saying what he's saying. These are different cases. We can't just look at something and have a blanket answer for everything. These investigations these situations inquire nuance. They inquire critical thinking, wanting to get to the bottom of the truth. All these people with platforms are still saying untruths. This information has been out for months. Okay, that's my little rant about that. But I also want to go to what he said about defunding the police, because I just had a video about Alyssa Milano. So Charles Barkley said that you defund the police, and the people that are going to suffer are low-income, high-crime areas, and the people that are still going to have their police are the rich white liberals. Also, check out this meme. This is pretty good. But he's absolutely right. We saw that with Alyssa Milano just this week. She wanted everyone to sign a petition to defund the police by 90%. And then what happened last week? A teenager was on her property hunting squirrels. She had the K9 unit, police cars, helicopter, the fire squad was out on her property for 3 hours. So yeah, the rich white people in gated communities, they're always going to have their security. They're always going to have their officers. We also saw this in Minneapolis. Some of the people that voted to defund the police had private security details outside of their house. We saw it here in Los Angeles. One of the city council members who mainly pushed for our defunding of the police, which we defunded by $150 million, she had a private security detail, several police officers stationed out of her house for days. So yes, they will have their protection, but you will not. If you're middle class, lower middle class, under that, you are the one that's going to suffer, not the white liberals that love to get on TV and to lecture you and to virtue signal when they actually have no idea what they're talking about. I think that's everything. All right, bye guys.